What do you love about plumbing? What do you think makes it an interesting trade?
I love the grit that plumbing takes, and it's a special type of person to in service and repair in general. It's a lifestyle trade, and there's different start times every day and different end times every single day.
Would you say it's a mistake to get stuck in working only for builders?
Again, not if you are an owner operator where you're in the field.
Hey, how's it going? It's Tim Brown, and this is the Plumbing and HVAC Hustle Podcast. And today I've got Cody McLeod on. Is that how I say it? Cody McLeod?
Cody McLeod, yes, sir.
All right, we're talking about 5 common mistakes building a plumbing business from scratch. From scratch, which has been Cody's story. Some of these he's made, some of these he's seen. And Cody, would you mind just giving like a 1 to 2 minute background story of how you got where you are now?
Yeah, definitely. So I'm a second generation plumbing contractor. I was literally born and raised in this trade. I grew up with a plumbing shop in my backyard, and I was a partner in my family business for the first 12 years of my career. I did a lot of things before plumbing, but I started utility plumbing services 2 years ago. And so I come from I helped build my father's business from me and him in his backyard to 30 employees. We had a 2-story building on the main street in Rancho Cucamonga here. And we got up to about 30 vehicles. And so when I started my new company, Utility Plumbing Services, I started out with 2 vans 2 years ago, and we're up to 4 vehicles right now, and we're moving.
Love to hear it. And are you kind of the type of guy that's in the field a lot, or how are you doing that right now?
Getting the business started, I'm definitely in and out of the field for sure. I feel like I tried to, when I first got everything started, when we were trying to get traction, I was kind of, trying to run everything and manage everything from the office. And I realized our quality of work wasn't very high at that point. Mm-hmm. So I bootstrapped it up and I got into the field with my guys, and our quality of work went up. My employee retention went up like crazy. So, I'm one of the owners where I have no problem getting into the field and showing the guys physically how to do things and leading by example.
That's awesome. And you're still skilled in it. You get a bunch of years in the office, maybe, it can kind of slow down the skills a little bit. You feel like you're pretty fast and thorough on your job still?
I'd say getting back into the field, there was a little bit of a learning curve again, but, back at my other business, I had calluses on my fingertips because I was in the office so much, but.
Classic. Well, that's awesome, man. It's cool to hear that kind of different perspective on being out in the field. What do you love about plumbing? What do you think makes it an interesting trade?
I love the grit that plumbing takes, and it's a special type of person to in service and repair in general. It's a lifestyle trade, and there's different start times every day and different end times every single day. And I think that's what makes it the service industry unique.
And you guys are focused more on the service side, not as much on like builders or that type of thing?
Correct. I've done a lot of tenant improvement and commercial stuff in my career, and we did some of that getting this business started just to get some, some cash flow and revenue in here. But it's just 2 completely different types of plumbers. You have, the plumbers that you can just set on a job all day, and they work, 6 to 3, and they do their thing. And then there's service and repair plumbers where they have their own vehicle, they take it home, and then they get dispatched to individual jobs. So,
are you kind of doing anything with like a showroom or anything like that?
What do you mean by that?
With products, like one of the first plumbers we worked with had like a showroom with different like come see the sinks and stuff like that.
Yeah, that would at my previous business, that definitely would have been we had our actual restrooms themselves were showrooms for our customers. So anybody that came into the office, technically, they they would check that out.
The service side, it's that you're kind of talking about the cash flow of working with builders or those types of things. And then people often try to get out of it partly because the margins aren't good. Is that what I understand? Like it's just not great margins. Like they'll beat you up on prices and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of respect for general contractors and that whole industry, but when it comes down to it, the general contractor can kind of control the cash flow, if you will. And we're waiting 45, 60, 90 days out for pay, and our margins are much less. Whereas in a service vehicle, our margins are at 50, maybe 60% on our jobs because it takes a lot more to get to those individual jobs. So
I know this is going to require just your perspective and opinion, but like, would you say it's a mistake to get stuck in working only for builders?
Again, not if you are an owner operator where you're in the field.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are an owner operator and you enjoy doing that type of work, you can definitely make some serious money there. I'd say when you have men out there that are kind of they're not so worried about the margins on the job, and they're not thinking about it at every single moment like an owner would. I think that's where you lose profit on those type of projects.
I was talking to a prospect recently, and they just like closed $1 million commercial plumbing job or something like that. And they're like, well, we put that quote out like a year and a half ago or something like that. So long sales cycles on the commercial side there. And then also I could sense he had his administrative person on with him, and she was like kind of like, oh God, how are we going to get this job that we put out a long time ago? And then the profit margins piece and the intensity of manpower required in some of these jobs, and then like that's like somebody's like several people's job for a while, right? On the commercial side, would you say commercial? How do you? I'm just picking your brain, I guess. Commercial versus residential in general. What would you say, even on the builder side? I guess.
So the builders is like a completely different side of the trade. But if you're doing service and repair for residential or commercial, to me, because I have all the experience, I feel like it's almost the same exact thing. If you're doing service and repair, to me, what's the difference between cameraing a residential sewer main and selling it to the customer, or going and cameraing a commercial sewer main, which is just bigger, and selling it to a commercial client? To me, it's the same exact thing. But some guys like to stick to just residential or just commercial. But I've been doing this, Tim. We're not scared of anything.
Yeah, I like that. Well, let's get into these mistakes. And part of it is some of these you've made, but also just ones you've seen. And we're trying to help people avoid these. I always say sharing failure, if you've had any. And I mean, especially the guys that are successful have usually had a lot. So sharing failure is generous and sharing a little bit of the lesson, but like, hey, maybe don't do this. So what's the first mistake we've got for plumbing business mistakes, building a plumbing company from scratch?
So the first mistake that I personally made with starting out my new business is not going out and getting an SBA loan or some type of long-term loan for my business. Basically, I ended up putting, I was gonna just tiptoe into it. I was like, oh, I'll get it done. As far as getting a loan for the company and stuff, and it ended up I still haven't gotten a loan for the business, and I've been funding it all myself. We're finally at the point 2 years later where we're profitable and stuff, but now I'm paying back personal loans to myself instead of using other people's money and going out and getting an SBA loan.
I like that. Do you guys also like just the using other people's money thing? A lot of times that's used to sell financing. Are you guys pretty good at selling financing, or how are you doing on that? I'm just curious.
We're very good at selling financing, and we're doing a lot more training on that right now. One of my mentors told me in the trade that he hopes that he finances every single service job they do because it takes away buyer's remorse.
Oh yeah, totally. I love financing, I think. And I was talking to Anthony Cafagna,
Mhm.
and he was saying that they have goals. They've got the goal there, and they were hitting like 25%, and they're working on basically training their guys on that more. And I like what you're saying. If you were just like, if the default is just financing, like we do that for websites, it's just the default is like 12-month financing kind of. We use an actual bank for it, and we factor the cost into the price. You know what I mean? So it's just covered, and it's
Exactly.
just easy.
Mhm.
So we just raised our price enough to cover that, and then we're good.
It's a no-brainer.
So, and it's crazy how much that matters, because it's not about price. It's about like the pain of paying that price. And the pain is so much higher when it's like all at once. It
Yeah.
hurts. It hurts you didn't want this problem with your plumbing in the first place. So you want to be done with it, but the pain of paying it all at once is too high sometimes.
Absolutely.
All right, Cody, what's number 2 mistake?
So poor hires, inexperienced people, whether that's in the office or in the field. Again, when I first got my business started, I couldn't afford the I guess high paying field guys and stuff, and I was just trying to gain some traction. And what that did was cause pain and heartache with our customers in the field. So you had guys that weren't experienced in customer service, and definitely not experienced in plumbing, trying to go out there and run plumbing calls. And I'm one of those people that tries to give full reign to my technicians to, hey, whatever you need to do out there, get it done. And I had a lot of inexperience out there. So, and then on the other side, in the office, I had inexperience where when you first get started, I wanted a general manager that would really buckle down and work on the business with me. So there's 3 aspects to that. There's accounting, customer service, and HR. And basically I hired in the beginning a person that only had kind of strength at one of those, and didn't really, it just made it much harder, because my accounting in the very beginning of the business was just all over the place. So I'd say someone that has experience in accounting, and HR could kind of wait, but accounting and customer service is huge.
Man, if I look at this, if I look at some of the people I hired that first, like, whatever, 6 months, I was trying to get like part-time stuff and this and that.
Yeah.
You try to patchwork like a little business together, and it's crazy. Some of the people I hired at the beginning, like, they were so bad.
So
But I was
bad.
like, 20, $15 an hour, just come on. Like,
Yeah.
just like, come on in. You're like, it was actually
It-
so much work to manage people that are that cheap sometimes.
Absolutely.
That's the trade-off we kind of have to make. You do make, but then you learn that lesson, and it hurts.
It does.
Talk to me about number 3.
So in my career, so it's buying used vehicles. In my career, I've always been fortunate enough to be able to afford brand new vehicles. And when my first 2 vehicles in my new business were brand new, and those things are still running perfectly. I did purchase 2 pre-owned vehicles from actually another plumbing company, and they already had 100,000 miles, and we put these trucks are weighed down so much because there's so much material and tools that go on them that they just break down quicker. So I wish I would have gone newer on all of my vehicles, but that's all we could afford. So
You get by how you get by. How soon did you try to swap those out? Like, have you got a few other ones now, or do you still have any of those?
no, I have the 2 from the beginning, which are brand new, and then I have the 2 pre-owned, and we're crushing it with them. I mean, they're just little stuff, like we're seeing the transmission slip, we're replacing rotors and things that we shouldn't have to be doing. But it's just because they have so many miles on them. I mean, they've been on the road for a long time.
All right, what's number 4 here? What's a big mistake that people make?
I'd say a big mistake that people make is poor branding. I didn't know how well my brand would actually work, and I ended up absolutely loving it, and the community is really responding well to it. But What I wanted my company to represent is, being bold, and I want to represent real plumbing. There's a lot of companies out there that are flashy, and I'm not talking bad about any other company, but they have like the cartoons and stuff like that. And for me, that's just not my style. Like I come from a real plumbing background, and I'm a master plumber myself. And I really, let's see, I just want to stand for bold and professional.
You got the U. I mean, first of all, it looks like pipes underneath the sink. It looks like it's like the you is the customer, kind of is like, that's a beautiful thing. And then the fact that it's just the first letter of the name, and it looks cool. I also we just switched our brand recently. It's really black and white now, and black on black.
Uh-huh.
So our brand used to be gold and navy blue, and we just switched.
It looks good, man. Really good.
And we do have a few like accent colors with like a fluorescent yellow thing, and then like a blue, but we're supposed to use them very lightly. My creative director is like, if you use that very often, you're out, dude. So, but I love the black on white stuff. I think it is different than a lot of people. And it's like, you can make the brand is not just like getting a color in people's mind. It's also a lot of other things. And what I like about the black and white thing is that it gives you room to like, what is brand? Can we expand brand beyond just like trying to slap them with a color all the time?
Yeah, definitely.
And you got clean. And I like that too. You're saying it's because this is a little bit more real plumbing.
Yeah, it really is. We're literally black and white, and we're selling real plumbing services instead of all these gimmicks or anything like that. So
gotta love it. All right, let's talk about number 5.
Okay, number 5. Okay, so chasing purely money over fulfillment. Where do you want to start here?
Yeah, what do you mean by that? What is that as a mistake? Why is that a mistake?
Still a lot of money chasing these transactions. There's still really good outcomes out there for sellers. It's good to have someone like us in your corner, because we're not emotional, but guess what? When you're selling your business, it becomes emotional, and so it's really good to have an intermediary, there every step of the way. www.sfpadvisors.com. All the contact information is directly on the website.
So I think there's a lot of people out there that are, especially now, that are getting into the plumbing industry, and they're just chasing the money, and there's a lot of money to be made, but I feel like there's a lot of pride in this trade. And
before we were talking about the being in the truck versus not being in the truck, and there's something to the idea that you shouldn't just be stuck in the truck.
Yeah.
But a lot of fancy gurus tell us to not do any work in our business and to, like whatever. And it's kind of like, well, I got into this because I'm good at it and I like it.
Yeah, exactly.
And like, I also know where the money is made. So I like being involved a little bit more. And it's kind of a ridiculous premise to start out a business and say, don't be in the truck at all,
Absolutely.
I mean, some people might do it. So I think that you're saying, kind of as we were talking about this at the beginning, it's like, if the trade is fulfilling to you, if you like this business, if you like doing this work, this was a calling for you, then make time for it. Like, be part of it. And then also, like, you create the processes through that. That's what I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, by doing the work, by doing it, we show our people how to do it. And then there's a prototype. I'm the prototype because I know how I want this done. Now make the process off of this prototype. So if you like it and you're good at it, don't hold yourself back from doing it sometimes. That makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. You get out there, you get to lead by example, and you are, when you're just starting your business, you are the culture. You can have the opportunity to get out there and actually show guys, lead by example in the field. And yeah.
I agree 100%. I mean, the culture thing's crazy, dude. Like when you got a few people and you're trying to like, because you hear it all the time. You got to create a culture, and then you got like 3 people, and you're like, what do we do? Like, I've got hot pockets in the fridge. Does that
Yeah,
count?
it's an everyday battle, man. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm always questioning myself, and I'm always trying to get better as an individual, but like you got to, focusing on the culture is super big. And then sometimes there's some days where I'm just like, man, like our culture sucks today, but I'm always looking for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And you have to have in business, you have to have that mentality of tomorrow's a better day. Tomorrow's a new day. We got to keep pushing. We got to keep going.
And I will say this, I've been doing a lot of like, go to businesses, and I'm not throwing anyone under the bus because I've been to like 50, not 50. I've been to like 15 offices, in the last couple of years. So like, who knows who I'm talking about,
Yeah.
But like, it's always cooler on the social media thing than it is in person. Like and it's not even that it's bad. It's just there's tension in person. And there's spoil sports in person. Like and they're great companies. It's just this guy doesn't want to be ever talk to anyone on the internet, and that's fine.
Mhm.
This person's mad at the boss. This person's about to get fired. There's always that. And so even though I'm usually doing like a tour video and I'm showing the best parts, there's always other parts. And that's why you should do real office tours in person for real, because then you're like, okay, I'm not like off, like our business, like, yes, culture matters. And yes, we should be trying to build up like a encouraging, good vibration company of whatever, but like, it's not always like that. And almost all the time, if you go into anyone's office, there's going to be stuff. There's always stuff.
Yeah, nothing's perfect. And it goes back to the grass isn't always greener, even for the technicians that want to just switch to another company that everything looks great online. But sometimes the grass isn't always greener.
And we were kind of talking a little bit about the podcast. I'd like to open it up here a little bit about, plumbers' relationship with marketing. What is the real, like, because do you need to even market? Like, it's a high demand field, like, especially if you're skilled, like as an individual and with a few, skilled individuals, like people want that. You get an okay reputation, it will snowball, right? It will do decent. Like we all know small family businesses that never really grow, but like talking about customer focused driven companies, how much marketing do you really need to do? How much do you really need to get into this? Or could we just, grow slowly from our reputation?
Yeah. Well, I think new customer acquisition is important for any business, but especially for a new business just growing. I mean, that was one of our biggest struggles in the very beginning was, getting the new customer acquisition. And then now it's more important than ever because we want to continue to grow. Now we have our customer base, which is pretty strong, but that's how you're going to grow. That's how you're going to get more leads into the business. And really, that's how you're going to keep the really good technicians is going out there and getting more work.
Let's talk about high leverage activities on marketing. What is something you, for instance, do with your time that you think is high leverage, most likely to get new customers that you would spend time on amongst all the other things that you have to do?
So Rilla allows you to listen to, it's an AI in your pocket, listens to the appointment. It's pretty crazy what it can do. It gives a script, gives everything they said, it breaks down some statistics for you.
Analyze talk ratio, interactivity, like how you and I are interacting back and forth, longest modeling, like all those things.
Honestly, this is the shit that I most believe in AI.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Enhancing the
You're
user
about to put
experience.
math and data around something that used to be my magic skill.
I think digital marketing is extremely important and building your online presence for sure. I think in the community, getting involved in the community is extremely important and, your name out there and who you are as an individual. So I think networking is a huge part of that. Just
How do
how
you do that? Like, are there any specific ways that you're doing networking right now?
I've joined a couple mastermind groups. I've joined the Rancho Cucamonga Chamber of Commerce, and just building professional relationships in our own town has been it's been big for us. So
That's good. And when you think about higher leverage digital marketing activities, what are you spending time on right now specifically?
I would say that was one mistake I made in the beginning as well, is not focusing on digital marketing. And you got to have I'm talking to a marketing guy right now.
Yeah. Hey, if it doesn't come from me, it's better.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess just building, you got to start organically, but if you're not even on the digital marketing platforms and stuff, you're not going to have any chance. So I would say, but hiring a professional to do that is extremely important.
I've got a little segment here at the end. It's called Hot Takes and Cold Trends. Cody, what is it about having real plumbing skills that helps you run a better plumbing business?
I think having real plumbing skills creates a better culture in our business. I come from this, hardworking background where I saw my father, working his ass off for his whole career. And I feel like I definitely bring that to my company.
Cody, I know that you're passionate about this trade and that you guys do real plumbing at Utility Plumbing. What is it about being a real plumber that makes your plumbing business better than some people that are focused on like the frills around the edges?
I think my background being a second generation plumbing contractor brings a great culture to our company. And we're not just about sales we're providing real plumbing options to our customers, and it creates a better culture for our men to go out there to have an honest, make an honest living and be able to provide real plumbing options to our customers.
Awesome. And what is your guys' website so people can check you guys online?
So our website is utilityplumbingservices.com. And we have a pretty big social media presence as well. So we're on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. Go ahead and give us a shout out on Instagram.
Check it out. And the podcast is put on by hookagency.com. Hook Agency all over social media. Check it out, and appreciate everyone for watching. Bye.
All right.